Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Dracy. A little earlier than I thought, but we'll see how this goes. My tooth extraction isn't hurting as much today. It was part one of two where they literally use a screw to go put the new tooth in. But in the meantime, they went in, got rid of infections and stuff. You don't want to hear all that gross stuff. But I'm doing better today, and just thought I'd surprise you if this works out. Clive Barker, Hyperkind. This was an era. This is so 1993. Check out the embossed foil. That's isolated. It's pretty cool. But when you saw so many on the shelves back then, it was ridiculous. So this is Marvel. And they call this the Razor line, Superheroes from the Mind of Clive Barker. And you get the impression that they just wanted his name on the book, because that's like, I don't know if it was Malibu or whoever had Leonard Nimoy's Primortals, and I don't think they did anything either. So, but everything was selling for a long time until they overdid it, and then people were backing off when they realized that these investments were actually quite the opposite. So, okay, enough of that. Now, was this ever any good? I never saw it. I like Robert Townsend, but anyway, on the art, which is shocking, is Paris Cullins, who did, Blue Devil, which was excellent, and he did Blue Beetle, oddly enough. He did two blue characters. But looking at this, I would never expect it to be this way. And I'm wondering if he was nudged to do this image style, this third generation image style that Herb Trimpe had done also. Or did he decide, I want to stay competitive, because that's how freelancing happens. I mean, I've been told to ink like RT Bear on occasion, and I could fake it pretty well. RT Bear is excellent, by the way. But it's a certain, I don't know, approach. That's the word. Yeah. So I read this, and it's one of those times where it's mostly figures, so you don't have to worry about any weighty backgrounds, and that's a bit odd there from that angle. I don't know why, but like I said, Paris Cullins is 10 times better than this, and I'm sure he was just, I'm sure, especially they had a lot of new editors too, and they were like, oh man, you got to be more like this guy, or your dinosaur, and that's an unfortunate thing. That happens like every, 5-6 years, where some new editors will come along and they'll decide who's out and who's in, depending on the taste of the month. So anyway, this main character, he's kind of Niles Calder from the Doom Patrol / Professor X from X-Men. And there's a flashback. These children have no idea what they face. Strength and grace, my Hyperkind, to go back. And it's written by, I forgot to tell you this, Fred Burke, who I think he did some humor stuff for Marvel, like on What The. So this flashes back to that same guy getting beat up by some street thugs in an alleyway, and they go to take this ankh off of his chest, a necklace, and it burns his hands. So the guy takes off. I like these three panels because they really remind me of like Mike Mignola when he started off with Gotham by Gaslight. So we jump right into this woman smacking her boyfriend. How dare you? And I gave everything. I trusted you. And now you say you'd rather be with this cheap piece of street trash? Try and say cheap piece of street trash 3 times. Look at her waist and everything. It's so crazy. But like I said, Paris was just probably going wrong. Going wrong. He was going along because that was the style, unfortunately. This is excellent. Now, this is Paris Cullins. That's just really amazing angle there. So this woman ends up with some hobos, and she's really torn apart. This guy like really broke her heart. So the old guy falls. I don't know how this ties into him being mugged. The storytelling's kind of back and forth. And you ever read a comic and you're like, did I miss a page? Or did I, and I did that a couple times with this book. So, see that guy there. And all of a sudden, call me the Dutchman, a wanderer to your shores. Okay. It's hard to turn pages with these cardboard covers. And he tells a story about heroes. Yeah, that whole thing there is very image-like. But I like these characters. That's a great alternative Captain America costume. And I like her costume, too. So there's just so much busy stuff in lines and stuff. So what's weird is, in the alleyway, he says, your mind does not betray you, Dutchman, nor mine, for I am Bacha, I guess is what he's called. And people are looking from distance, what's up? So he blasts him from behind. I don't get it. Why is he talking that away when the bad guy's behind him? Or that he lets the bad guy get behind him. Makes no sense. And so the old guy pulls off his mask, and he's a lizard underneath. What's his name? The Dutchman, yeah. So got that. You got that going, and he gives her the onk and says, "Get out of here! You're supposed to. This will help. It's your destiny." Not quite, but so. And then there's these incubators. I guess they were going to make not mutants, but clones or something. And it's just really odd. So I'll let you guys try and follow it. I've been, actually there's a couple times, and I couldn't express why. I don't know. Couldn't express why. So you got next issue, and like I said, Paris Cullins, he still does great stuff now. He, like I said, this was just unfortunate. It was the time, So, Captain Thunder and Blue Bolt from Hero Graphics or Comics, they published a comic book called Champions, which was based on their role-playing game with superheroes that came out in the late 80s. And as an aside, I have a Champions issue I'm going to show in a future episode. Marvel dropped the ball. They let the word Champions, they let it go out of their trademark or as a copyright, as a title. But many years later, they used Champions. So, but it wasn't the original Champions. It was a whole bunch of different characters. So Captain Thunder and Blue Bolt. This is drawn by Del Barris and Roy and Dan Thomas, his wife. And it's pretty solid. There are places where the coloring is too strong. Like, I hate blue captions. There's another book I was looking at that had a blue caption, and I couldn't read it because it's just not meant to. So this one guy's hitchhiking. This guy is a tour bus, or no, he's going, I don't know, across the country. He picks him up. And he has to get dropped off in the middle of nowhere, seemingly. I like the rocks. I like how that's done. And his backpack falls off. So he tries to go where he believes his old man is, who was Captain Thunder. Hang on. Sorry about that. Where about 8,500 feet higher than any man in his right mind would want to be, let alone a little snot like you. So, the old guy's a real charmer. So it's like even though he knows it's his son, he's kind of a bitter a-hole to him. He's still wearing his suit. He goes, "Hey, is that your old Captain Thunder suit?" "Sure, a little moth-eaten, but well insulated. Beats the hell out of long underwear." So, I'm no more a hero in exile. Wait, it's not the stars and stripes, for God's sake, any more than I'm the hero in exile you expect to find up here. Am I? You're not. You're not a hero. You're the worst part. You're no father either. So, falls into an abandoned mine, and Captain Thunder frees him. So it took a disaster like this for him to acknowledge his son. So he's still kind of a jerk, but thank God you were killed, and he's sort of changed his attitude, I guess, but he's still a bit of a jerk. Because you better get some sleep. He finds out he has superpowers too. Oh yeah, what's his another costume? I don't remember seeing this version in any old photos. So I lost my place on this, but he finds out his power, so he puts a costume on, and he gets tested by his dad pushing him off a ledge. But the kid manages to figure out flying. It looks like he's borrowing a little bit from Gil Kane there. So, next, revenge. It's okay. It's just that it was just another superhero when there was a ton of superheroes. And like Blue Bolt and Captain Thunder, that's okay. It just needed updating, because even for 1986 or 7, this was way behind. And I don't mean and it wasn't exciting enough for me to enjoy a throwback costume like that. So it was like a very serious comic, but these characters just have very derivative costumes. So anyway, now Legion of Superheroes. After Keith Giffen left, Steve Lytle took over for a while. This is the Baxter Paper direct market version, and the next version would come out. What is that junk? I tried to get it off before, but anyway, Steve Lytle took over, and Larry Malstead continued to ink. He was the one who inked Giffen, and I love his inks. Love it, love it, love it. This was weird. The Jonah Hex going into the far future. I can't decide if I like it or the idea or not. I've only seen 1 or 2 issues, which I'll be reviewing. So they're testing out new applicants. You know what's interesting though? They stopped doing this sort of thing with any team. It's like they'll have anybody show up in the Avengers or wherever and immediately kind of let them in. And there's something to be said about going back to this, judging membership by committee. So I like her a lot. That's a great design. What's her name? Oh, Comet Queen. You can see there's a little bit of Giffen feel when it comes to the faces and figures, and eventually Steve Lytle, in fact, in short order, he gets his own style that's much stronger. Look at that angle there, right in that center panel. So there's White Witch, who came along during the Giffen era, as did Block. I think Block came around then. Really good stuff. In fact, I might pick up more of these here, because I did leave after Giffen left. And part of it was financial. I was buying so many comics. I was like, what do I cut? Totally dig that. And so it's a lot of fun. Centaur Girl is a mysterious character that nobody knows, and it turns out to be Supergirl up in the in the 30th century. Now we got Justice League America. This was the Detroit years. Like a year or so prior, the Justice League had disbanded, like all the old characters, but Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, and Elongated Man stayed on board, and it seemed like a very odd choice. But at the time, they didn't have any individual comics. I mean, they didn't have to worry about continuity with their own titles because they didn't have titles. But anyway, they kind of balanced out with some cool new characters. There's Steel, and he is, I think, the grandson of Steel back in the late 70s or 77, where Gary Conway and Don Heck did 5 issues of Steel. So yeah, I know they're related. He ended up becoming pretty popular in the JSA era when during the time I was inking it in like the mid 2000s. So, but I mean, the other characters are pretty good, even though some are very stereotypical. I love that inking there. Man, that's Luke McDonnell. And I just love it over Luke McDonnell, who did like 2 years of Suicide Squad. He did a couple years on Iron Man, and still Jerry/Gary Conway. That G always throws me off. A hard G or a soft G. But man, Macklin's just, it's immaculate because it's Macklin. Yeah, isn't it great? Almost has a Wally Wood feel there in the big figure. And I loved when Macklin inked John Byrne on West Coast Avengers. So, pretty neat. I've been tempted to get some of the Detroit era comics, but the only thing they did was come out with this big honking omnibus, and I'm like, I'm not going to commit to a big omnibus if I don't know if I like it or not, and I can't go by just one issue. Yeah, so he's kicking some ass. So good stuff. So I saved this one for last. So anybody middle-aged like me knows this book well. Fantastic Four it started off being the best-selling book, and then Spider-Man overtook it like a few years later. But it was still very popular, and the Thing is just an incredible character. And you got the Hulk, and you got Rich Buckler with Joe Sinnott, written by Jerry Conway. And Buckler decided to give Hulk hair on his chest and on his forearms, and that's pretty cool because there were some. I think he went back to some early issues of Hulk that Kirby did, where he put that in there. So that's right off of a first panel when the Hulk is jumping around in the early issues. There's a ton of swipes in here, but I don't know. It works. I think what helps with it is Rich Buckler is a good enough artist that if you took away the Kirby swipes, he's still a great artist. He just sort of wanted to give the fans what they wanted to see, Kirby-esque stuff. And I don't even think it was requested. I think he just decided to go that way because he wanted to get the feel of the characters. Like the one there with Bruce Banner sipping that coffee, that's definitely a Kirby panel, because why would his arm be stuck out like that? That's the kind of thing Kirby would do. Because even when Kirby's characters are standing still, they have the illusion of moving. So now that's original there. I know. God, that's beautiful. His eyelashes poking out. Boom. Artie Civic, or the letterer, the classic letterer. Basically, the Hulk and the Thing have switched bodies. So, man, oh man, oh man. Someone's sleeping in my head. There's another thing you don't see much is... is seeing backgrounds like that. Backgrounds that you can only see if it's focused. There you go. And this gizmo here, they use when they were either going to see the Inhumans or actually I think the Black Panther. Yeah, there we go. There we go. It seems Johnny's tired of testing this new model you received from the Black Panther read. Yeah, that's exactly the same kind of the same panel. And similar to Galactus's, ship, his huge ship, it's not real. It was never drawn that you could do a different angle because it's just crazy. Because the Galactus's ship is like an MC Escher drawing. So yeah, lots of Kirby going on. Whole lot of Kirby going on. So you're strong, almost as strong as Hulk. How did you get so strong, ugly man? He's calling himself ugly man because he's all confused. Man. Got Thunder there. She's always cool. So I love that panel there. Holy crap, it's Hulk and the Thing smashing right up through the center aisle. They're at a boxing match in Madison Square Garden. So it's like Fantastic Four always needed to be bombastic and big, and I think that's lost on a lot of creators these days. I know I sound like a 100-year-old guy, but I get the occasional issue of Fantastic Four, and it's good, but it's all, it should be about mostly this guy and just the group dynamic, but I don't know. Because they're superheroes. They're dressed like superheroes. The Thing was created to look like a superhero because until the brand new Fantastic Four trailer came out, they could never duplicate that shape in the movies. So I'm looking forward to the movie. Very much so. And there's that. Roy Thomas goes on and on and on. And I kind of like that. Roy Thomas, he explains so much because he has an incredible memory. Better than Stan and Jack's, better than publishers. So it's always an education. I'm kind of glad he does this kind of stuff because it helps. It adds to the history. It makes gives us more feedback while it was still fresh in his memory and everybody else's because comics were only like 30 years old at the time. So this is called. This was a review that Roy Thomas did of Fantastic Four 1 in a fanzine. That's really great. And, by the way, notice it says Giant Size Superstars. Well, the next issue will be called Giant Size Fantastic Four #2. For like that and Spider-Man, they tried to, I don't know why they didn't just call them that, but maybe, I don't know. There was a lot going on in the 70s that was kind of slipshod. But that's what we love about the Bronze Age. More man. Scrolls. This is from one of the Fantastic Four annuals. And Doctor Doom. So, maybe the best comic book villain of all time. Alright, well, I went from the god-awful to the ultimate comic. So anyway, yeah, I may take another day off or so because the one side of my face that I had the surgery done is starting to feel a little warm. Like maybe I should stop talking. That's always been my problem. But thanks for all the comments and thank you for watching. And in a couple days I'll do something else. And I'll let you know. So please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And click the bell for notification. And that's all. And tell a friend. Take care, everybody.